so glad that you could join me today. I'm Laurie and I'm from Create Better Health, and it is a Utah Supplemental Nutrition Assistant Program, or you might know it as SNAP. The Create Better Health program is offered through Utah State University Extension offices. Well, let's get started making some delicious spinach dippers. And hopefully this will help you in if you have a party, or if you're celebrating, or just for a side as dinner would be great too. They're easy to make, and spinach dippers make a great snack or vegetarian meatball. How about that? I love that these use simple ingredients. Some that you would already have on hand in your pantry. So they're easy to throw together in a pinch, and I love them as far as snacking or, like I said, a side dish with some sweet and sour sauce, or maybe some marinara sauce. Even a little pizza sauce might be kind of fun to dip them in. They also make a great pasta dip topping. We talked about having it be a vegetarian meatball, so you could do that. So you can see it has lots of versatility. So, full flavor, hearty, satisfying. Spinach dippers use seasoned stuffing. Any brand, as long as it's really crumbly, as you will see when we put this in our bowl. It's not real big, huge cubes like you see maybe in some of the other brands that you might have at the store. And then we're going to use some grated cheese and Parmesan cheese, butter, eggs, frozen or fresh spinach. And this is perfect for when you're cooking from out of your pantry. Okay, so get a medium to a large bowl, and we're going to get our spinach, and I'm using frozen because, number one, we didn't have any at our store, and so kind of go to the frozen section and try to see if they have it there and cross your fingers. I ran some warm water over the frozen spinach. I'm going to take a paper towel and a bowl underneath. I'm just going to kind of squeeze that down so that it's nice and dry. We don't want it to be really wet. See all that wetness that's coming up in our paper towel? Okay. And we've got some fluid in there as well. So we don't want our spinach dippers to be more moist than they need to be. And we're just going to go ahead and add that dry spinach to our mix. And you can do this however you want. You can do it your eggs first, or you could do your spinach. It doesn't really matter the order in this particular dish. Put that to the side, and let's go ahead and mince our garlic. Get that going. We're going to go and we're going to need 1 teaspoon of garlic, and that's about 2 cloves depending on the cloves. Garlic powder if you wanted. If you don't like to cut up your garlic like this, you could use powder, and that would work out fine too. Okay, so I'm just going to take my knife and put it on top of my garlic like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of smack it. You'll see that the paper comes off pretty easy. We'll do that over the trash. I hope you guys are all doing good and that you're all ready for the holidays, and that you're baking and that you're having your family help you in the kitchen. That's a really good way to have conversation with your children, is to get them in the kitchen. And then you can say, okay, now how's school? And how you liking history? And are you feeling okay? So it's a really good time. And sometimes just fun to sing songs and tell jokes or whatever your family might do. All right, so once you get that all peeled off, And if you get a little paper in your garlic, I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, so then we're just going to take this the long way, whichever long way it is for you on your garlic, and take the tip of the knife, and we're going to just make some strips, and then we're going to turn it and go the other way, and then we're going to get this nice and minced. We want it kind of small. Bigger piece of garlic in my mouth. It's not good. Okay, so then hold your knife at the top, and then pretend you have some glue right here on your cutting mat, and then just kind of go back and forth until it gets to the size that you think is good for you and your family, or just for you, however you're cooking, or whoever you're cooking for. Okay, so get that going. And you see how this knife just kind of pivots and rocks around once you get to holding that top part. It makes it really nice. Just keep your fingers up and out of the way. All right, and there's a little bit of a bigger chunk right there, so we'll get that nice and minced. All right, I think that's ready. We need, like I said, a teaspoon, so let's see if that's about right. See? Yep, we did good. Really, really good. All right, and then just put that in our bowl, and that is ready. Then we're going to put 3 eggs. So I've got those all ready to go right here. Just large eggs will do. And I should have beaten those up a little bit, and so that they're lightly beaten, but I will make sure I mix it really well. Just make sure that if you do that, that you are going to mix it really well too. All right, and get this all mixed in here. And you could also use kale instead of spinach if you wanted, or if you didn't want to use the cornbread mix, you could use like turkey or chicken, whichever you prefer. That would work as well. Look how beautiful this is. Aren't those beautiful colors? I was thinking too, you could also put a red bell pepper and get that chopped up and put it in here and make it kind of, really small. And that would be your green and red for the holidays. That would be way neat. Like I said, I want to mix this really well because I didn't beat my eggs slightly in the beginning. Oh, I forgot the ½ cup of Parmesan. We need that too. So just Parmesan cheese like this. You could probably use the crumbled kind, and that would work as well. You know, the kind that you put on top of spaghetti. It's very pantry friendly. So whatever you can have in your pantry can usually be maybe mixed in. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil. Now, in the instructions or the recipe, it says to bake them. And since that's hard to do when you're on camera, I'm just going to do it in a skillet. So you can too if you want. But if you're going to put them in the oven, it's 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. And since I'm not doing it in the oven, I'm just going to put it in the skillet with a little bit of olive oil, and we'll brown it. When you put it in the oven on a cookie sheet, put some foil down first, and then grease it a little bit with the olive oil, and you'll save yourself some cleanup time. And don't forget your pepper. I'm going to put some pepper in there. Let's just go ahead. Oh, we're going to do our skillet at 352 as well, like we did the oven, and get that to where it's getting kind of hot. And then just put your dough, I would say, or your stuffing in your hand after doing a tablespoon of it. And then you'll see that we've got a nice round meatball of stuffing here. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. as that warms up in there. And I have a lot of gluten-free participants, so this would be a very good thing for them as well as everybody else. But sometimes it's hard to find things that are good for everybody and their dietary needs. So this is nice to have something. I was thinking too, if you had a little bit of carrot in your refrigerator, that would be a nice little addition too. If you had some small carrot, you could put it in here. That would be neat too. But make sure it's really small so that when it cooks, it will be tender. Okay. Put it in the skillet if you're using a skillet. Otherwise, you're just going to put it on a cookie sheet and get them all done at one time and put them in the oven, and then you can go do something else. I think that's probably ideal. But if you've got children in the kitchen and they want to help, this would be a good thing to get them to help with. They could make the meatballs, and maybe you could, if they're small, you could do the skillet. Or if you've got older teenage children, they could learn to use the skillet. And just go over the rules of the safetiness of what we do when we're working with the skillet, and making sure that it's safe, making sure we have a hot pad next to it, and the right utensils all ready, and that we keep ourselves away from the grease that's popping. So all good things to be teaching. All right, so we'll just kind of stop there and get those cooked up. Wash your hands because the batter, as you remember, has eggs. And then you're going to just take a spoon or a spatula, and we're just going to roll these balls around and get them toasted on all sides. I wanted to show you that here. Here, without breaking the ball up here. See how toasted that is? Nice and pretty. So we're just going to turn these around. And you can use a pancake turner if you would rather than a spoon. I just think with them being in ball form, that it'd be easier to use the spoon. But you use whatever you're comfortable using. And then you'll see that I have a holiday plate. You can use that, and then use individual dipping things, or they can just put the sauce on the plate. That would work out too. I hope that you guys will go and give these a try. I love them. I have been making these for many years with the Create Better Health SNAP Ed program, and it is a crowd pleaser. People seem to really like it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat down a little bit on the skillet, and maybe just put it on warm. And then you'll see that I have some toothpicks. You can use toothpicks if you want, and just put them on your dish. We're going to talk a little bit on label reading. How are you guys at reading labels? It's kind of time consuming. So a lot of us are usually, when we're in the supermarket, running in and out of the supermarket, right? So it's sometimes difficult to take a moment and look at our labels and see exactly what's in the things that we're purchasing. I wanted to show you a handout that shows the older label and the newer looking label, and these will be located in the comments section below this video so that if you want to print them off, you can, or if you want to have a closer look, you can do that as well. So in our stuffing mix that we bought today, you will see that the items here at the very top are larger than they used to be, and you'll see on the comparison chart that that is true as well. So it's easier at a glance to see, oh, okay, how many servings are in this package? It says there's 6. We would say that that this is prepared, it's 180 calories, but that's 180 not for the whole package. It's for per serving. So we have 6 servings, and we're going to take the 180 calories for each of those servings. But sometimes we think, oh, it's only 180 calories, you know, but it's not. It's per serving. But if it did say there was only 1 serving in this box, then it would be 180 calories, okay? Make sure that you're looking at that particular area. That's the top part, which is the serving sizes. And then the next area you'll see is calories. And for each, I'm going to put this closer, and then you can kind of see those a little closer up. So the next section is calories, and for each serving size, we went through that. That they based it on servings, not a whole container. Okay, total fat is next, and 4 major groups of dietary fat are monosaturated, polysaturated, saturated, trans fat, and then there's the unsaturated fats. So consider heart-healthy fats, and most often those come from plant sources, and like the olive oil is from an olive, and they are liquid. See how liquid that is, and they're liquid usually at room temperature. You can put them in the refrigerator, olive oil, and it will congeal a little bit, but it's still heart healthy. Okay, so those 2 types are monosaturated and then olive oil. Polysaturated, such as soybean, corn, canola oil, okay? And the benefits to choosing a plant-based oil or fat is that it helps our bodies absorb vitamins A, D, E, and K. And this helps maintain cell membrane structure as well. And it also helps us with energy between meals, which is really important when we are going about our days. Okay, so saturated fats are considered not heart friendly, and it's recommended to keep your intake of those saturated fats lower. And most often come from animal sources such as cows and pigs and stuff like that, and are solid at room temperature, and shortening, lard, those type of products. Okay, it's also found in many meats, so you know, our steaks, our hamburgers, stuff like that, pork. As of 2020, no foods produced in the United States will be made with trans fats. As a result, the Food and Drug Association, the FDA, has eliminated trans fats from the generally recognized safe list. Cholesterol is the next one, and in the 2020 to 2025, because American guidelines are every 5 years updated, they do not give specific recommendations for this particular cholesterol limit. Are just waiting to see if they come up with something on that. Sodium. It's recommended that children and the majority of adults consume about 2,300 milligrams a day or less of sodium or salt. And people with certain health conditions, of course, will be eating less of that, especially those with heart and kidney disease. And then you'll come to the total carbohydrates. Carbohydrates count includes the amount of sugar naturally incurred. So added sugars, starches, and fibers per serving. So let's say 4 grams of sugar, which you'll find on products instead of teaspoons and tablespoons, they'll do grams, equals approximately 1 teaspoon of sugar. So you can kind of relate to that a little better. And then there's the dietary fiber section. And this is a carbohydrate that is not absorbed in your digestive system. It's just remember that the fiber is important for digestion and disease prevention. So then we come into the vitamin and mineral section, and that comes right below carbohydrates. And that is our lesson today on spinach dippers and on label reading. I hope you'll take more time to look at what's in the products that you were buying. For those of you who are already doing that, way to go. A lot of us sometimes have children or family members that have allergies, and so we get pretty darn good at reading these labels. Remember to exercise for 60 minutes a day for 5 days a week. Yes, housework and yard work count. Thanks for joining me today, and let me show you these, okay? Let's put a few on the plate. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? A nice presentation, don't you think? All right. Well, thanks for joining me today. Bye.